In this press briefing today, the president insisting a story alleging he has called Americans killed in battle losers and suckers is fake news. In his words, The Atlantic uses statements from unnamed sources in a very detailed story. Several people in the Trump circle, as you just heard there, are saying on the record the allegations are false, while other unnamed sources are adding more context and background, and we'll lay it all out for you tonight. Meantime, Joe Biden calls the reported comments from the president disgusting and said today, quote, "If true, it proves he is not fit to be commander-in-chief." Let's begin tonight with Chief White House correspondent John Roberts live on the North Lawn. Good evening, John.
Brett, good evening to you. This story is about an incident that is almost 2 years old now, the president's trip to France back in 2018 to commemorate Veterans Day, and how the dark clouds that mark that trip continue to swirl above the president's head. President Trump was incensed today about a report in The Atlantic magazine that claimed in November 2018 the president said he was canceling a visit to the Aisne-Marne American Military Cemetery in France because the war dead interred there were losers and suckers.
No, there's nobody that considers the military, and especially people that have given their lives in the military, to me, they're heroes.
The official reason for calling off the visit was bad weather. It was raining, low clouds, and Marine One couldn't fly. In an email, the president's military aide writing, "Team, we are a bad weather call for today's lift. Chief of Staff General Kelly will replace POTUS for today's ceremony. Please advise if any questions." While the president could have taken a motorcade out to the cemetery, there were security concerns about being so far out in the country, and the president was said to not be eager to sit in the car for the 4-hour round trip. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton was in a meeting to discuss whether the president should make the trip.
John Bolton, no friend of mine, but he wrote a book, and he talks about this incident, and he doesn't mention it.
Bolton told Fox News this afternoon he never heard the president mention suckers or losers in relation to U.S. war dead.
I didn't hear either of those comments or anything even resembling them. I was there at the point in time that morning when it was decided that he would not go to Aisne-Marne Cemetery. He decided not to do it because of John Kelly's recommendation. It was entirely a weather-related decision, and I thought the proper thing to do.
Two other former aides who were in the meeting confirmed the same thing to Fox News.
Good afternoon, folks.
In Wilmington today, Joe Biden indicated he didn't know the veracity of the claims in the article, but ripped the president anyways.
If these statements are true, the president should humbly apologize to every Gold Star mother and father and every Blue Star family that he's denigrated and insulted. Who the heck does he think he is?
President Trump did get some good news today. The economy added nearly 1.4 million more jobs in August, the unemployment rate dropping from 10.2 to 8.4%, beating expectations. The president tried to hang on to the one issue where he continues to lead his opponent.
As you're going to see tremendous growth in the very near future. We're rounding the curve. We're coming up with vaccines. I think the vaccines are going to be announced very soon.
On the visit to Aisne-Marne Cemetery, aides warned the president at the time that canceling the trip would not play well politically, particularly when other world leaders like Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and German Chancellor Angela Merkel were making trips via motorcade out to various cemeteries around Paris. I was on that trip and remember that the political fallout from the cancellation was particularly harsh. Brett?
All right, John, stand by if you would.